Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson, and this is Transfer Talk. Thank you guys for joining me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and also hit the like button if you enjoy the content. If you don't, just fuck off and don't come back. How about that? Right then, we are talking about Dybala, we are talking about Fernandes, we are talking about Maguire. What is happening? Do you know what? I don't think anybody knows what's happening. Do you know why I don't think anyone knows what's happening? Because I heard from somebody that spoke to Harry Maguire, and he goes, I don't fucking know what's happening. And the reason that he doesn't know what's happening, I'm assuming, is because the clubs are still negotiating the price. There's some people saying that we've bid 80, there's some people saying that we've bid 70. There's obviously negotiations ongoing. There's talk of a deadline. Well, do you know what? There's an actual deadline. It's called the transfer deadline, and that's on Thursday. So we have got a week, and we will know what is going on. And do you know what? I'm almost glad that it's over and we can actually focus on what we're here for in the first place, and that is the football. Side note, I'm doing an Instagram Q&A as well, which I'll be filming in about 2 hours. So if you want to get some questions in, head over to my Instagram and reply to the question in my story over there. And you can get your question answered. That'll be going up tomorrow. So right then, let's talk about Dybala. What is going on with Dybala? According to Roman Agresti, Dybala has landed in Turin to have discussions with Sarri this afternoon. United are happy to pay the salary of €10 million a year after tax that he is demanding, which is around about the sort of money that Lukaku is on anyway. Multiple sources, including Damasio and Sky, have stated that the deal is basically done. Terms have been agreed between the two clubs and Lukaku. It just needs Dybala to go, all right, fuck it, yeah, I'll play on Thursday nights for a year. I think it might happen. And for those of you who aren't in the Patreon group, I mentioned something probably about a month ago. Someone told me that there was a wow signing on the cards, and my guesstimation at the time was Griezmann or Dybala. And it looks like it was probably Dybala all along. I'll get confirmation on that as soon as I can, that's who it was in the first place. But that was my initial guess at the time. And I'll get to why this is important with the Fernandes stuff when we start talking about Fernandes. But either way. So the sporting director of Juventus is in London to discuss the transfer, so I think that's important. And also Dybala's agent has been over to discuss with United supposedly as well in what's going on. Now, I don't think his agent comes over to have those talks if there's no interest. If he's like, I'm not fucking going playing for United, I don't think so. So I think that there is at least some interest. The wage demands can be met. It's not like he's gone, do you want me to play that? It's going to cost you $750 a week. The indications that we're getting for me seem like a deal can be done. Can we do it in time? I think is going to be the major drama. He had a bit of a down season last season. I saw someone saying, he's been shit for 2 seasons. He wasn't shit last season. Last season, Juventus switched their focus to build around Cristiano Ronaldo, as you would. Prior to that, he had some very good seasons. I think it was 22 and 17 goals previously in the seasons that led up to that one. Last year, 1.7 key passes per game, 1.7 successful dribbles per game, 1.5 shots per game, 89% pass accuracy. That is in the league. Not bad. Wasn't amazing, but not bad. Obviously, that deal comes with a couple of caveats. One caveat being Lukaku, and we knew that one that was going into it. Him wanting or being wanted by Juventus is a strange one to me. They have got an unbelievably stacked lineup that I don't see, and people have said, well, they want Ronaldo to have a bit of a rest. Lukaku's not going to go to Juventus to come and feature 15 times a season, surely. It makes very little sense to me in this one. But there's also talk of Darmian being flung into this mix as well as Lukaku, which it's amazing that Darmian's still a Manchester United player in the first place, to be brutally honest with you. So it says Lukaku has agreed terms with Juventus ahead of the proposed swap deal. According to Giovanni Albanese, Matteo Darmian is being included in the deal for Dybala to reduce the difference in valuation between the two players. Darmian and Lukaku weren't in the travelling squad to the Christian-summed match. Lukaku did take part in the Manchester United media day today, but do you know what? He's still a United player. You're going to have to do those things just on the off chance that he does stay, because otherwise you're going to have to drag him back when the rest of the squad's doing whatever and get him done there and then. So, Fernandes then. What's going on with Bruno Fernandes? I felt, for the longest time, I hadn't heard anything on whether Fernandes was even coming at all. where I had heard stuff on Maguire and on Wan-Bissaka, but I hadn't heard anything from anybody inside the club about, or even around the club, about Bruno Fernandes. Now, I know that the interest in Fernandes is real, but I also know that it's not as real as the Portuguese press are really trying to push it. And if you start trying to join the dots up on who says everything that's going out here, you've got Damasio, but then you've also got the Portuguese press. You haven't seen Simon Stone. You haven't seen any of the major UK-based journalists come out and say anything that's happening with this transfer, except to pour water on it when they did so with Pepe a couple of weeks ago. Which says to me that there's probably an element of truth to that we're in for him. But I think there's a Morata-Lukaku kind of situation emerging here, because it's dragged on too long, where the club are happy to sell, the players happy to come. Why haven't you done it? Well, we haven't done it, in my opinion, because he's second choice, and he might be the second choice to Lukaku going to Juve and us getting Dybala, especially when it was 6 weeks or so ago when it was the person I was talking to telling me about this wow signing. That would add up to me. Otherwise, it makes no sense. I'm just trying to find a logical way into it. I'm not saying this is exactly what's happening. I'm saying my take on the subject is what I think is going down. And I think that Bruno Fernandes is second choice. Now, he's second choice to who? I think it must be the Dybala one. Dybala must be, because they're not identical. And you can argue that Dybala's a little bit more attacking, and Bruno, even though he played mostly off the striker and in the hole a little bit last season, he can be considered a number 8. But they're not wildly different players. In the way that Morata and Lukaku are not the same player, they're not wildly different in what they offer a football team. I wonder if Bruno has always been our second choice that we will go to. And I wonder, speaking of second choices, where Maguire sits in all this lot. Now, before we get into Maguire, I'm just going to finish up here. Check this stat out. Bruno Fernandes, well publicised, 32 goals, 18 assists last season. Absolutely phenomenal numbers. Pogba, Matic, Fred, McTominay, Herrera, with all the penalties that Pogba had, 23 goals, 15 assists. Now, yes, it's the Portuguese league, and that is the Premier League. But either way, that's still ridiculous, isn't it? That one man can have such an impact over 5 players. So whoever's going to get him is going to go get a very exciting player. I'll say that for free. David Amoril is saying, any deal for Bruno Fernandes and Dybala are independent from one another. I thought that, but I think that they are linked in terms of, like, we would only get one. I don't ever envisage a time where we would get both. Damasio stated on the 30th of July that after agreeing a fee for Harry Maguire, United are one step away from signing Bruno Fernandes. United didn't agree a fee for Maguire. Does that mean the rest of what he said is unreliable? I don't know. Ollie also did say that we're working on 1 or 2, definitely not 3 or 4, and I don't think it'll be more than that. Now, Harry Maguire, this has started to drag a little bit, but there's talk of Dunk being the replacement. There's talk of Brighton then replacing him with the kid from Bristol. I think there's some of that happening first, almost like a house chain, where this one needs to happen, then this one can happen, and then Maguire can happen. And speaking of the first and second choices, Maguire isn't my first choice. And I'm certain he's not the club's first choice. But I think he was definitely on the list. 3rd, 4th, 5th on a list maybe. And I think, and we'll get down to it in a second, there's another name on that list as well, I think. So according to, I can never say, the Cava guy from Sky, I can never pronounce that surname. United have apparently made a world record bid for Harry Maguire that is believed to be in the region of £80 million. According to TalkSport, the £80 million bid is a take it or leave it, and it will expire on Monday. According to Fabrizio Romano, I mean, Monday's a weird time to do it, and unless you're saying, like, you need to let us know by Monday, because then it gives us 3 or 4 days to go and work on our probably plan Z by the time. But I think it gives us that little bit of a time to go and get it all done. Romano says talks are ongoing between the clubs to reach a deal for the player. According to the Times, Maguire has pleaded with Brendan Rodgers and several of the club's executives to let him go to Old Trafford this summer. This contradicts what Sky Italia are coming out and saying that United have seemingly abandoned a move for Harry Maguire and are going to test the water with Samuel Umtiti. You don't know if that's been briefed by someone to say, go and tell them that we're doing that. Umtiti, as injury prone as Baye, probably isn't as good in the air as Maguire. I don't really like it, and I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense, to be honest with you. Ducker has also said that United's bid remains at 70 million plus add-ons. I think that there's probably some truth in that. I think people are reporting the final fee, not the initial fee, as they like to do with Manchester United. Anyway, short, sharp little update there from me. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions relating to any of those. Hit me up in the comments below, and also make sure if you've got any questions that you'd like me to answer in the Instagram Q&A, go and follow me on Instagram, Mr. Stephen Howson, as it is everywhere. Get your questions in there on my story. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, where I am off at, there's an invite-only under-18s tournament that United are in tomorrow, which I'm going to be heading down to. I'm trying to find out if I'm able to film anything while I'm there. But hopefully we'll have a bit of a look at this year's under-18s side and how they're going to line up, and obviously the new players that are assembling for the under-18s, and maybe hopefully get a first look at a few of those as well. So keep it locked, and I will let you know what I find out. See you in the next one. Laters.